for this. Okay, if you don't have concerns anymore, class, after the data gathering procedure, you have to write there the data analysis, ha? If your study is quantitative by nature, definitely you will be using statistical tools. You may go back to your statistics subject to determine what statistical tool is applicable to your study. But if you're not really sure, you may ask me later. Let's try to determine that based on the statement of the problem. So be ready with your SOP also, so that we can easily identify the statistical tool that is most suitable for the data analysis of your study. But after the data analysis will be the ethical considerations. You really have to identify what ethical considerations or ethical principles or elements you need to consider in your study in order for you not to violate any rights or any ethical na mga elements dito, class, ha. And aside from that, before you start writing or identifying the ethical elements, class, na you need to consider, you have to properly state in your paper that your study will also undergo a review by the Research Ethics Committee of the school. We have the REC in the school. Sila yung magre-review if merong mga ethical violations yung inyong paper. Okay? Pagkatapos niyan, you have to include, class, and determine one by one these elements. So, ito, ha, elements of the research ethics, ito, hindi necessarily na everything will be included in your paper. It will be you who will identify which of these elements are needed to be considered in your study. So we have your social value. If your study, class, is relevant to an existing issue socially or in the medical field, and then again, your research is very relevant to address that kind of issue, or if your study is proposing a solution to that problem. So you have to clearly specify in the ethical consideration of your study what is the relevance or what is the benefit of your study to that certain issue or problem that you need to determine or identify also. Agihan lang nako, ha. The second one, the second element in the research ethics is the informed consent. Now, if your study involves human subject, your participants, your respondents are all human, please do not forget to include informed consent. Okay? You have to give, class, a chance to your respondents or participants na they have the sole decision whether to join or not in your study. So it has to be in writing. So kailangan may informed consent form talaga kayo. Now, what is in the form? You have there the information needed para ma-orient yung inyong respondents or participants about sa research ninyo. Ano yung scope ng research? Ano yung magiging participation nila? What is expected of them? And you have to divulge also information regarding risks and benefits na pwedeng makuha nila in your research. So all should be included in the informed consent form, including a clause wherein they have the choice to withdraw their participation anytime sa study. Okay? Merong ganung clause sa informed consent ninyo. And isa ito sa i-check ng Research Ethics Committee in the school. Okay? And then, another one, we have here, wait lang, ha. We have here the vulnerability of research participants. Now, for example, your participant is a member of the vulnerable community, like the children, and then we have the people with special needs, no? Like yung yung mga patients like with autism or whatever, that they need special protection class, you really need to include this one in your paper, and then you have to provide a step-by-step procedure on how you're going to protect the vulnerability of your participants. Okay, I'll show you an example later. And then you may also include this in your paper under the ethical considerations, risks, benefits, and safety. If, for example, there is a risk class, a possible risk na makuha nila when they are going to join or they are going to participate in your study, you have to inform them this one also. And that is through the informed consent. But in your paper, you have to include what risk will the participants possibly have, or kung merong benefit, ilagay nyo din siya. For example, merong monetary benefit or benefit in kind, hindi siya monetary talaga, na you will promise the participants na ibibigay nyo, you have to include that one in your paper. And also the safety, for example, there are risks regarding their safety, like when you draw the blood from them, you extract blood from them, you really have to make sure na they will be safe, walang risk of a possible like infection or like risk for contagious diseases. Okay? And then ito yung sa lahat ng paper talaga involving human subjects na andito talaga siya parate, the privacy and confidentiality. You have to state in your paper that you will really protect the privacy and all the confidential information that you will get from your participant. Okay, so how are we going to write this in our paper? Let us have an example kung paano ilalagay sa paper itong mga ethics, mga elements for research ethics natin. Check natin ha. First time. So for example, of research, local data gathering, data analysis. This is how you're going to write your ethical consideration, ha? Again, starting from a statement that your study will undergo review by the Research Ethics Committee, and followed by the identification of the different elements of research ethics that you need to consider. So in this case, they have the informed consent. So you really have to provide class a discussion on how you are going to do this. What's the purpose of informed consent? And how are you going to secure one? Okay, and then aside from that, justice, if it's really needed in your study, like if you want to uphold justice in your study wherein all your participants will be treated equally and that you will not be exploiting them from for any any na mga pwedeng i-exploit sa kanila. And then if there is a possible risk of harm, you have to include that one also, an explanation of anong harm ba yung makukuha or yung mangyayari sa inyong participants. And then they have a clause here for the privacy and confidentiality. Okay, just a simple statement that you will really ensure that all collected personal information will not be leaked, will not be revealed to the public. Just a simple statement. Okay, so this one is not really a long section in the methodology. What do you mean? You really have to separate an ethical consideration for your research. It should not be found in the data gathering procedure. The data gathering procedure will just have the exact step-by-step procedure in the collection of the data. The ethical consideration should be here. Okay? Yung even in the handling of your patient, extracting of blood, handling of specimens na lahat ng ethical consideration dito ilalagay. But the step-by-step procedure doon sa taas sa data gathering procedure siya. Okay, so that's the last part of the methodology section kasi the next part will be the results. Don't have the results yet, we'll have that one on the second semester. Okay, so nakompleto natin yung ating methodology. Pero in the proposal defense, you really have to follow the correct format natin ha sa school, starting with the title page. So ito yung format natin for the title page. Wala tayong school logo, walang school name. It's directly the title using title case capitalization, meaning the first letter of the major words are the ones naka-capital only, hindi lahat ha. And then if your title is long, kagaya nito, 3 lines, you have to arrange that one in an inverted pyramid format. Okay? Followed by this one, study presented to the Faculty of Medical Technology program of GSD-MSFI. And then here in partial fulfillment of the requirement for the degree of BSMT. And then your names, and then the date. Okay, kung kailan nyo yan matatapos. Okay? And then please take note, you may also include an approval sheet. This is our format for the approval sheet. I just can't give you this one, but this one is recorded. So you may access the recording and just copy the format here. Just edit this one with the title, with your title and then your names. But for the advisor, you still have the same advisor and the same set of panelists. Si Dean pa rin yung chairman dyan ha. And then I'm included in the panel. And then we have Ma'am Lugto as the third member. Okay, and just edit the date here. And then you have to make an acknowledgement also. You have to include here list of names na you need to acknowledge in your paper because one way or another they have contributed to your study. But our format sa school sa acknowledgement, you start with God and then the GSD-MSFI, the school itself, including the Board of Trustees, and then yung mga panelists ninyo, after sa panelist will be the advisor, and then after the advisor will be the other people that contributed sa study ninyo. Pero hindi pa kasi ito mako-complete kasi halfway pa lang naman kayo ng research ninyo. So sa final defense, pwede niyo siyang i-edit if ever meron pa kayong gustong i-acknowledge sa paper. Okay? And then this will end with the researchers. Okay? And then you don't need to place an abstract. Abstract class is a 1-page and 1-paragraph summary of your paper. Now, since again, sabi ko kanina, you're still halfway in completing your research, we cannot do a summary pa. Okay? So, hindi pa hinahanap si abstract sa proposal defense. Sa final defense na. Okay? So, wala pa itong abstract na ito. But, you have to include table of content. Okay, but this is not actually the correct format for the table of contents class. Kasi itong review of related literature, kasama siya dyan after sa scope and delimitation. And then, you don't need na isa-isahin pa yung mga, table, yung mga review of related literatures and studies nyo. Kasama siya dyan sa scope and delimitations. And then you have methodology, the results and discussions, wala pa yan, but you will be making the references, the appendices, and even the curriculum vitae. Okay, questions so far? Or clarifications? Preliminaries, ito how we call them, preliminaries. Okay? And then what else? If you have appendices, you may have list of appendices also. after the table of contents. I'll show you an example of appendices later, ha? Tapos, we have list of figures also if ever you have one. I believe you have, especially your conceptual framework and in the methodology. If you made a schematic diagram of your procedure, we call that figure, okay? And then list of tables, if you have tables, but for now, wala pa kasing tables sa paper ninyo. Yung mga tables kasi doon ito sa results. So for now, medyo wala pa. Now, sa page number, class page numbers are placed here on the upper right corner of your paper sa tabi ng header. Running head. We call this the running head. The running head class is parang abbreviation or like shortcut or summary of your title. Shortened title. That's the running head. And then katabi niya yung page number. Pero take note, mali din kasi itong format na ito. Kasi wala tayong page number on the first page for every section. Just like this one, introduction. This is a major section of your paper. Wala kasi dapat yan siyang page number, but it's automatically page 1. Mag-a-appear yung page number dito na siya sa second page. And this will be page 2, ha? Page 2 na siya. Page 1 ito, pero dapat takpan niyo yung 1 na yan. That is also true pag umabot tayo sa methodology section. Let's go to the methodology since that is the second na major section sa paper. So, silang RL. Mahaba talaga RL plus. Ito, nasira lang itong format na ito. So, supposedly dito yung methodology, no, sa page 44. Takpan niyo lang, class, yung 44. Kasi first, yan siya? First page ng major section ng paper ninyo. Okay? So, sa first page lang, ha? Pero automatic, that's page 44. So, the next page will be page 45. What else that you need to prepare for the proposal defense? We have here the references. Nasira yung format. Kasi pag nisend nyo siya ng naka-Microsoft Word, nasisira talaga yung format. Actually, nasa next page na yan siya. I'll teach you how to do this also. We will be using the 7th edition for the APA format for the references. This should be titled references talaga, ha? Not bibliography. But after the references, we have here the appendices. So, nasa taas dapat ito siya or nasa baba pa. Sira lang. So, appendices class are the necessary na mga things in your research or documents in your research pero hindi talaga sila nilalagay in the body. Okay? Hindi sila nilalagay in the introduction, methodology, results, or discussion. So, appendices yung tawag natin. So, ano yung nilalagay dito? Pwede yung survey questionnaire ninyo. Lagyan nyo ha, appendix A and then the title like survey questionnaire. Ano pa? They have here the informed consent. So, this is an example of an informed consent. They secured para sa participants nila. They have the information about their research, the institution, syempre kung saan sila connected, the purpose of the study, and then they have here the procedure, and then ito yung sinasabi ko kanina that you have to inform your participants if there are possible risks or benefits that they can get from participating in your research, and a clause to the refusal to participate and withdraw anytime, and the privacy and confidentiality. Your information should be also included in the informed consent, and dito magsasign yung participant. Meron ka ding sign-on dito as a researcher. Okay? But what you're going to place in the appendices is a sample informed consent. Because remember, we need to keep the privacy and confidentiality of information sa participants natin. No? Na kung ilagay mo kasi yung actual dyan, so nakita na yung pangalan nila. Nawala na yung privacy. Yung mga letters, Letters to the validators, letter kay Dean, letter to the City Health Office, if ever nag-letter kayo, lahat ng mga letters ilalagay nyo dito. Okay? Ayan. And then, by the way, yung sa research local, if you have provided a map there, you may transfer the map sa appendices. Sa appendices na lang yung map. Okay? And then, lahat pa, mga letters, mga certificates will be included here. And oops, I have not asked permission from them for the curriculum vitae. So, let's hold their privacy also. So for the curriculum vitae, kay wala man tanan ng hid sa ilahang ipakita ilahang mga information. Ako na lang curriculum vitae akong ipakita ha. Kasi we have the same format. Please bear with my face. So this is the format of the curriculum vitae ha. You have their name, syempre that contact number, and then please include a picture, a 2x2 picture. Now, walang magsa-selfie ha, makasabaan jud ta ni unay mag-selfie. Yung picture niyo class, either naka-school uniform, naka-duty uniform, or naka-business attire kayo. As long class as pareha mo tanan, uniform mo tanan, like kung naka-school uniform ang isa, naka-school uniform ang tanan. Okay? Or if nagsabot mo sa inyong grupo nga, duty uniform, everyone should wear duty uniform. Okay, that is for the picture. Okay, and then next will be the personal data, date of birth, place of birth, civil status, citizenship, religion, height, weight, father's name, and mother's name. And then after that will be the educational background. So syempre sa inyo hanggang tertiary lang muna. Okay, tertiary lang muna. Name of the school, address of the school, if ever you have awards, you may include that one, and then the year, kung anong year kayo nag-school doon. Okay, hanggang educational background lang muna kasi wala pa naman kayong employment experience. So yan lang muna ang ilagay ninyo sa inyong curriculum vitae. Okay, dito no. Sige. Questions or clarifications?
Oh, yeah, I want it now.
Wala? Sige, let's talk about the APA format. We'll talk about the referencing later also, yung 7th edition. Okay? So again, we'll discuss important guidelines in the APA format of research, and let's talk about the APA styles for our referencing. So when you say APA class, that's American Psychological Association, and we will be using the 7th edition. Okay, kasi marami silang edition class in the referencing. But actually, the APA is an organization for the psychologists in the United States. But aside from being an organization for the psychology field, they also advocate sa pag-promote and pag-defend ng research, and thus they made class the format parang guide natin on how to do research. So let's start with our format. Please take note of this. We will be using Times New Roman sa font, and the font size will be 12. Now you have to set the margin 1 inch ha, pero take note of this. Yung left side will be 1.5 ha. Kasi that is to give space for the binding. Kasi nakakain pag nag-hard bound na, nakakain yung left side sa hard bound. Pero minsan nakakain yung body na ng paper, hindi na siya nababasa. And that is the only reason we utilize 1.5 sa left side. The other sides, the top and the bottom, 1 inch. Okay? And then please apply double line spacing. Except for preliminaries, of course, but starting from the introduction, double-spaced yan lahat. And then you may use running head. I've showed you the running head a while ago. It's beside the title. The page number, it's the shortened title of your paper. And then all paragraphs except for the abstract should be indented 1/2 inch. And then for printed materials, especially during hardbound, you have to use short band paper for this. Okay? Sige. So this will be the format. It's just that in our school, the header, the running head is not located on the left side. It is beside the page number. Take note of that. So again, the running head is here, but you have to transfer it right beside the page number. Walang maglalagay ng page number sa baba. Nasa taas yan lahat. Okay? And then the margins, please take note 1 inch except for the left side sa atin because of the hardbound. And then double space ang spacing nito. And then all paragraphs should be indented. 1/2 inch yung size. Okay? What else? So again, when you say running head, it is not longer than 50 characters. It's the shortened version of your title. Pero we will be placing it here beside the page number, not on the right side. All papers should include the running head except for the preliminaries. What are the preliminaries? Yung before sa introduction, mga table of contents, abstract, acknowledgement, approval sheet, and even your title page. Okay? Questions or clarifications before we continue? Wala. So how about the headings? Let's talk about the headings kay ang uban paper bisag unsa na lang ang way sa pagsulat sa headings. Sa major headings class, this will always follow heading 1. And what am I talking about the major headings? Yung mga major sections din natin sa paper. We have the introduction, methodology, results, and then the discussion. That's our major headings, and they will always follow heading 1. All subheadings or succeeding sections of each major headings class will follow either 2 to 5. So ito yung magiging format. Sa heading 1, I'm talking about this, it's the introduction, methodology, results, and discussion. You have to place that in the center, naka-bold, and title case capitalization. What do you mean by title case capitalization? Capitalize the first, last, and principal words only. Okay? And then, left, basta heading 2 na siya, that should be left aligned, and then bold, and then title case capitalization pa rin. Okay? Let me show you para masabta ninyo ako ang ginamin. Halika na to ang ilahang paper. So just like this one, this is heading level 1, the introduction. Okay, nasa center yan naka-bold. And then, this is heading level 2. Pag heading level 2, nasa right side na siya, pero naka-bold pa rin. And then, title case, capitalization pa rin siya. So, yung first lang na letter statement of the problem, the major words. Ito second, heading level 2 pa rin, heading level 2. And this is the example of a heading level 3. Okay, under the significance of the study, remember, we are like identifying the people or group of people that will benefit from our study. So you have here, example, the school. Ang heading level 3 class is indented, naka-bold, and then ang tawag dyan, sentence case capitalization. So let's just capitalize this one. No need to capital the second word. And except for except for nouns and like this one, the LGU, that's the exception. But again, it should be bold and then followed by a period. Okay, after the period, hindi na siya naka-bold. Dito na yung parang explanation or discussion ng heading mo. Okay, like sa school. So this is again the so-called heading level 3. I don't know if they still have heading level 4 and 5 kasi hindi na siya mostly common with the research. Okay, 2, ito lahat ha, yung mga subsections. Even the review of the related literature, wala akong makikitang RRL na nasa gitna. Kasi pag nasa gitna, heading level 1 yan siya. And para lang yan siya sa major sections sa paper natin. Well, let's see. Ito, 3 pa rin ito ha, 3. Heading level 3. Wala ata silang 4 and 5. Heading level 3 lang tilataman. Ano ba gagawin kapag ka may level 4 and level 5 ka pa ha? Example, nag-school ka na doon, level 3 na yon, pero sa school hinati-hati mo pa siya into different classifications. That's the time you use the heading 4. Parehas lang naman sila actually, naka-indent, naka-bold. Ang idadagdag lang natin is naka-italics na siya. Okay? Hindi lang siya talagang naka-bold lang. Naka-italics pa. Now, yung school na dinivide mo, may division ka pa after, may classification ka pa after. That's the time you use the heading level 5. So, minsan lang natin makikita si 4 and 5 ha, kasi ang dami namang classification yan pag umabot ka na sa 5. Pero sa 5 plus, if ever lang, the same thing indented, tanggalin lang natin yung pag-bold, italics na lang siya, sentence case capitalization, and a final period. Okay? So yun yung paggawa ng headings ha, para walay masaag sa inyo ha. This is the APA format. And then actually for APA format, you're not really required to do or to make a table of content. Kaya lang sa school kasi it is required. So you have to make one pa rin. Sa APA lang yung hindi required ha, sa table of content. And then you have here the title page. Syempre, the title page will have the title of your paper, your names as the authors or the researchers, and then the institutional affiliation. Ito yung talagang APA format supposedly, but in our school, please follow this one except for the capital title. Hindi natin kinakapital yung title natin dyan. Okay? Pinakita ko na yung kina-Abner last time, a while ago. Okay? And then the abstract is a 1-paragraph summary of your paper. 1 paragraph lang talaga dapat. And then plus or minus 250 words. Ano yung dapat ilagay nyo sa abstract ninyo? You have to present your problem, especially the objective of your study, and then a summary of the methodology, and then the most salient results, and then a little about your recommendations, conclusions, and recommendations. So yun lang yung dapat nasa abstract, but since we don't have yet the results and the conclusion, hindi pa natin siya gagawin for the proposal defense. Okay? So we don't really follow like headings for the abstract, no, yung parang format talaga sa APA. Wala siyang styling talaga, and at the same time hindi indented yung abstracts natin. Okay? Hindi lang ito nasunod, I think. Ito dapat yung abstract. Hindi siya naka-bold, just write abstract there. And then 1 paragraph lang siya ha, na summary, hindi yan naka-indent ang paragraph na yan, and hindi naka-justify. So, abstract does not follow the APA format talaga na naka-justify. Okay? And then, all abstracts should end with the keywords. The keywords are words or phrases that are like relevant or associated with your study. And, ang tawag dyan, ang purpose kasi niya kapag nilagay natin yan sa database, yung study ninyo, like kung merong magse-search, example, gamit yung word na yan, lalabas yung study ninyo. Okay, that's the use of the keywords. Okay, and then we have the references. Di ba? Ang title natin, references, or we call this APA reference page. Lahat ng nasa in-text and parenthetical citation ninyo should be included in the list of references class. And then you have to arrange them in alphabetical order. So we don't do na yung ihahati pa natin na from the book sources or from the online sources. Hindi na ganon. Ihalo na natin lahat but we have to arrange them alphabetically. Ha? So ito yung magiging format ng ating references. You still have the page number and then again, lagay nyo lang yung running head right beside the page number and then we have here the title, references. Okay? And then, margin will still be the same and then double spacing pa rin yun. Pero ito yung magiging format. You have here, class, one line. Siyempre, yung mga references natin since maraming information ang needed, more than one line talaga yan siya. The succeeding line should be indented ha. Itong first line lang ang hindi na indent. Succeeding line, second line, third lines, and so on, indented yan siya. That's how you write the references. Okay? So questions before we'll move on to the APA referencing style or clarifications. Wala. Ay, wala. Okay, so let's try to discuss class the APA referencing style, kung paano ba talaga siya isusulat. This will be based on your source ha. So starting from the journal articles references. By the way, this is the 7th edition. Baka yung alam nyo na referencing is the previous one, the 6th or the 5th edition. Ito na yung latest, the 7th edition. So for the journal article references, this is how you're going to do it. You have here the name of the author or the names, starting with the surname followed by the initials. And then, this is journal article ha, followed by the year of publication in open and close parentheses, period, and then the title of the article. Okay? Yung i-capitalize lang dyan is yung first na letter sa first word, and if ever merong tawag dyan, noun, like proper nouns, yun yung i-capital. And then period, and then after that, in italics, okay, hindi ang title ng article ang i-italicize ha, ang i-italicize will be the name of the journal. Okay, this is the name of the journal, followed by the issue number. Okay, this is the issue number here, itong 8. Nakakama lang yan ha, hindi naka-period. And then sa tabi ng volume number in open and close parentheses will be the issue number. And then followed by the page number. Now, since this is a journal article, meron yan siyang DOI. So since merong DOI, isasalin natin si DOI dyan. Wala nang word na from or ganun ha. Diretso na, DOI. Kung walang DOI, you can use the URL. Okay? You can use the URL. Wait lang. Okay, so yan yung sinabi ko kanina, let us not discuss this one by one na ipasunod na ako na siya. Kagain na. Okay? So if you if kinuha nyo to sa ProQuest, no need to include information about the database. Just write the DOI or the URL. So, syempre, kung nasa body ito ng paper ninyo, you may use parenthetical, this one, or the narrative citation. Narrative if sinali niyo yung name ng author sa text mismo. Okay? So, pero sa references, ito yung magiging format niya. Now, pag walang page number pero may article number class, the same format yan siya. Name, year of publication, title of the article, journal name, issue number, volume number, but instead of the page number, you may write the article number. Okay? Using the word article and then followed by the number. Ganun pa rin naman. Palitan lang ng article number yung page number. And then, syempre, hindi natin maiiwasan na yung mga references might have missing information. Pag missing ang information, just go on with it. Just omit what is missing. Okay? So just like this one, missing volume number, ganun pa rin naman yung kanyang format. Anong nawala dito? Di ba? Supposedly may number dyan sa tabi ng open and close parenthesis here. So since walang binigay class na volume number, as is lang, tanggalin nilang siya. Kung issue number naman ang wala, so ayan, wala din dito yung open and close parenthesis. Just the volume number ang meron. So kung anong wala, omit lang. Okay? Hindi na siya kailangan i-justify. Diretso lang siya, basta yung yung second, third, and the succeeding lines will be indented. Yung first line lang hindi naka-indent. Okay? Ito, missing page number or article number. So, hanggang ka lang, class? Issue number ka lang. If wala talaga, ha? Okay? So, if walang DOI, then you may use the URL kung saan yung pinuha ito sa online source ninyo. Okay? Meron din tayong retracted journal. Yung may mga binago sa information sa unang write-up or sa original na write-up, o kaya meron silang kino-correct, ganon. That's retracted journal article. So, ganon din naman ang format, magdagdag lang tayo. You still have here the name or the names of the author, the year of publication, the title of the article, naka-italics yung name of the journal. You still have the informations like the volume, the issue, and the page number, and you still have the DOI here. It's just that merong retraction na nangyari, merong correction, for example. So ilagay niyo lang in open and close parenthesis, retraction published kailan. So that's the year of the retraction. The name of the journal kung saan sinulat or pinublish ulit yung retraction. Ito, volume number pa rin, issue number, and then bracket, volume number, and then the page number. So magdadagdag lang tayo ng information about the retraction if ever it is a retracted journal article. You will still write the original one plus the information about the retraction, but we seldom see this in our references. Okay, so that is for the journal. If it is a journal article, that's how you write the references. Now, some of you might get your reference from a magazine. So how are we going to write that one? Actually, yun pa rin yung format except class dito. Instead of the year of the publication, it will be the exact and complete date. Okay? Like you have the author and then followed by in open and close parenthesis the exact date of the publication, including the month and the day. Okay? But it is to be followed again by the title of the article, okay? Period. And then this time, the one in italics is the name of the magazine, not the name of the journal anymore, syempre. Newsweek here is the name of the magazine. You still have here the issue number, the volume number, and even the page number. You just omit them if these numbers are not given. Okay? Pag walang information, kagaya ng yung third example, since walang ganito na mga numbers sa kinuhanan nila ng reference, stop ka na on the name of the magazine. So you may include also DOI if the DOI is available, or if wala, you may include the URL of the website. Okay? Ganun lang. Okay? Now how about if it is coming from a newspaper? Like COVID-19, marami tayong information that will be coming from the newspaper. actually the same format, still have the name of the author, but the same with the magazine, you have to include the complete date, including the month and the day, not just the year, ha. And then after that, the title of the article. This is the title of the article here, and the one in italics is the name of the newspaper. Okay? Again, name of the newspaper, ito, the New York Times. And if it's coming from a website of the newspaper, then you may include the website, I mean the URL. Okay, but if it is a printed newspaper, you may include the page number. Okay, this one, after the name of the newspaper. Okay, that's it for the newspaper. How about if it is a blog post? The same, actually, the same class na format. Name, complete date of publication, the title of the article, period, and in italics, the name of the blogs. Blogs do have names also. So may name pa rin ng blog dyan. And then syempre wala ng page number because it's a blog. So diretso na siya URL. Okay? That's it for the blog post. Now, I hope you have a lot of book references, ha? Especially sa MedTech world. Maraming books talaga. So how are we going to do that if galing sa book yung inyong information? If it is a whole authored book, this will be the name of the author, or syempre names if marami. This time, it will only be the year of the publication, syempre. And then, this time class, italics, ha? Ano ang i-italicize? Yung title ng book. Okay? This is the title of the book. If merong edition ang book, you write after the title in open and close parentheses the edition number. Okay? And then period, followed by the name of the publisher. Okay? This is the name of the publisher here. Yung old format ng ating APA, no? Kay merong name of the publisher, tapos meron ding location of the publisher. This time, wala nang location. Name na lang talaga ng publisher, tapos followed by the DOI if ever there is DOI. Pero pag wala, kagaya nitong second example, hanggang name of the publisher ka lang. Okay? That's how you do that if it is an whole authored book. But if it is a whole edited book, you may just have to add ed after the name, meaning siya yung editor or sila yung editors ng book. Okay, pero the same pa rin ang format. Year of publication, the title of the book in italics, and then you have here the name of the publisher. Okay, pag edited book, makikita nyo naman if it is an edited book or an authored book. Okay? And then, republished book. Meron din tayong mga republished books, no? So, ano yung magiging ganap sa republished na book? Ito will be the name of the authors, the year of the republication, yung pag-publish ulit, that's 2013, the title of the book in italics, okay? And you may also include, if there is an editor of the book, you may also include the name, and then just separate this with a comma, and then the ed, meaning siya ang editor. And then the publisher, the name of the publisher, the DOI or the URL if the book is like published in the internet, and then you have to include an information of the original publication. You just write original work published 1920. Yan lang. Okay, so that's for the books, but most likely we have whole authored book. So madali lang, ha? Madali lang yung sa whole authored book. Nawala lang yung sa new format, nawala lang yung location ng publisher. Okay? Now, how about dictionary references? If like you're trying to define terminologies in your study or in your paper. If it's coming from an online dictionary, you have here the name of the dictionary. Most likely, wala yung date. So, pag walang date yung reference nyo, lagay nyo sa open and close parentheses, ND ha, ND, meaning no date. And then it is to be followed by the word that you are defining. Like this one, just world hypothesis or semantics word. Ito na define ha. And then again, name of the ano pa rin, the dictionary. Kasi wala man talagang author yung ating dictionaries, no? Kung ano ang name ng dictionary, yun pa rin yung ilalagay dito sa first. Pero ilagay nyo din in APA, Dictionary of Psychology. This is the whole name of the dictionary. And ito yung, this time, ito yung gagamit kayo ng retrieved. Retrieved, the date of the retrieval, and then ito yung this time, lalagyan nyo ng from. And then followed by the URL of the online dictionary. Okay? This is the time you use the retrieval date and then the word from for the URL. But if you used a printed dictionary, actually it's the same thing. You still have here the name of the dictionary. This time, meron talaga yan siyang year of publication for our printed ones. Pero andito pa rin yung word na dinidefine nyo. And then the name, the whole name of the dictionary. And syempre, meron yan siyang edition. So you write the edition followed by the page number. That's the difference between a printed and an online dictionary. Okay, questions so far? Before we'll move on sa report by government agency references. Wala. Sige. So how about government agency references? For example, like sa COVID-19 yan, marami tayong information coming from the Food and Drug Administration, sa Department of Health, sa WHO, World Health Organization. Most of the time, their postings don't have authors. So they will be, the name of the organization will be placed here as the author. Example, National Cancer Institute. And then year of publication, and then in italics, the title of the article. And then ito kasi, meron silang additional information meron kasi silang parang, sub-agency after the National Cancer Institute. Ito talaga yung nag-post. Pero the whole thing is under the National Cancer Institute. Dito kasi sa atin parang wala. So like diretso na siya. Pwedeng, na siya, example, Department of Health, tapos year of publication, and then in italics, the title of the article, and then pwede na kayong dumiretso class sa URL if it's coming from an online website or an online source. Pwede na diretso, pwede na yung walang information sa sub-agency kasi most of the time wala tayong ganyan. Okay, ganun lang. If it's coming from the FDA, you write here the author as the Food and Drug Administration. Okay, kung anong agency man yan ang naglabas niyan. Okay, now, marami tayo nito, published dissertation or thesis. Paano ba natin siya ilalagay sa references natin? This is the example here. The name or names of the author followed by the year of publication, and then followed by, in italics class, the title of the thesis or the dissertation. Okay? In italics ha. Tapos, since we are talking about published dissertation or thesis here, after the title, you have to include the publication number. Okay? And then, what's next? In bracket class, inside the bracket, you have to clearly identify whether it is a doctoral dissertation, a masteral thesis, or an undergraduate thesis. Okay, depende yan siya ha sa kinuhanan nyo. And then, comma, the institution. Okay, the institution ito, name ng school. And then, pwede din maglagay kayo, period, ng name of the database where you got the published work Like this time, it comes from the ProQuest or pwede din ilagay nyo yung URL kung merong URL. Okay? So as long as it is a published thesis or dissertation, do not forget to write the publication number followed by what type of work is that and then the name of the university or the school. But most of us actually are using unpublished dissertation or thesis reference. Walang mga publication number ito. And this includes also class thesis in our own library. Yung mga thesis ng mga naunang batches, you may use them as references also, but this will be under the unpublished dissertation or thesis reference. And this will be the format if it is unpublished. So you have here still the name of the researcher or the author or names, and then the year of publication, then followed by the title of the research in italics, and then the bracket, lagay nyo class unpublished doctoral dissertation or masteral thesis or undergraduate thesis. Depende sa source ninyo. And then this time, nakahiwalay, period, the name of the university or the school kung saan ginawa yung thesis na yan. So most likely, ito yung ating susundin kasi marami tayong ganito, mga unpublished thesis or dissertation. Okay? So that's it. That's it for our APA referencing. Do you have questions or clarifications? Wala.